Om Shanti. Sweet Baba has given us the knowledge that you can choose to stay peaceful come what may. Yes, by remembering that the disturbance, the chaos, the problem, the instability, whatever you call it, is outside. But you are inside. And you can choose to be how you want to be despite what is going outside. Yes? And Baba has taught us the skill to see and not see, hear and not hear. That is, you have a filter inside with which you can filter out what you think is not necessary or not fruitful for you, not good for you, and take in only what you think is helpful and fruitful for you. And we all have to make choices now. If I share my thoughts on the current situation and what's going on, I feel that this is a time when we cannot live unaware. So every second we have to make a choice. How I want to be, what I want to do, whether I choose to step out or not step out. And these are decisions that every person has to take these days. And I don't think there is anybody who can guide you on what choices to make. For example, if you have a job and they ask you to come every day to office and you are not allowed to stay in isolation, then nobody can tell you what to do in that situation. It's a choice you make. So every individual, so we are sailing in the same boat in some ways, and then not everybody's circumstances are the same. So yes, globally we are going through a similar situation, but then individually the circumstances are very different. And there is no general rule right now. And everybody has to make choices that best suit them. So individual to individual, second by second, you have to make choices. And in today's Murli, Baba talks about the golden aged deities not needing advisors. So Baba says in the golden age, the deities will not have advisors. The king and queen will take decisions on their own. These days we have a council of ministers and we have advisors in every department. But Baba says in golden age there are no advisors. Why? Because you see, the man, the buddhi and the sanskars, they are organs of the soul. And decision making is a function of the buddhi. And any organ would function well if the whole functions well. So if your body is healthy, then every organ is healthy. Yes, your body is weak, every organ is weak. So when you, the soul, are full, then your decisions are better. So good decision making is an aspect of a complete soul. And when we say complete soul, so just like I talked about peace in the meditation. So peace is one quality of the soul. Knowledge is another quality of the soul. Purity is the third one, or knowledge is the first one, second is purity, third is peace. Then there is love, joy, bliss, power. So the more we stay in these qualities, the better decisions we make. And it is very important that we take care of the baseline. So these qualities, the quality of being knowledgeful, peaceful, pure, loveful, blissful, is the foundation of creating peaceful thoughts, creating elevated thoughts, that is, using the mind well and making good decisions. So if you are able to keep yourself in that state, then your decisions, your choices will follow. But then first, it doesn't come naturally to us right now. So consciously, we have to make choices to stay peaceful come what may. Choices to operate with knowledge come what may. Choices to stay in awareness come what may. So if you make these conscious choices all day, then gradually you become a knowledgeful, peaceful, loveful soul. And that knowledgeful, peaceful, loveful soul is capable of making good decisions all the time. Does that make sense? So this is why we do not need advisors in the golden age. Now, you see, one very beautiful test of how your buddhi is functioning is, if you look back at your life and you ask yourself, do you regret any of the decisions you made? So you see, we regret so many decisions we made. But when we made them, they look like the only decision we could make at that time. So at that time, they didn't look bizarre to us or they didn't look wrong to us. So what was it at that time that did not allow me to see the kind of decision I was making? Because my buddhi was under the influence of some vice. So the soul was not pure, not in a peaceful state, not in a loveful state. You didn't have the knowledge. So when you are not in that state, your buddhi tends to make wrong decisions, which look very right at that time. Under the influence of fear, under the influence of jealousy, you make decisions which you regret later. Under the influence of attachment, you make decisions which you regret big time later on. I remember there was this mother and she told me when my son got married, I was very attached to my son and I fought with my daughter-in-law day and night. And then they divorced. And later, much later, I came into Gyan and I see my son has a pathetic life. And every day I curse myself for being the mother I was. But I don't know, that cannot be undone, Didi, and I don't know how to deal with it. So under the influence of attachment, you take decisions, you engage in behaviors which you regret later. When you are angry, you do something and then you regret. So Baba says good decision making is an aspect of a powerful soul. It's a privilege of a powerful soul. So, there are privileges that are allowed only to powerful people. And good decision making is a privilege that only a powerful soul enjoys. If one is weak, you may keep asking how to make good decisions, but you will never arrive at it. So Baba says, this is a privilege that only powerful souls enjoy. And what is the power of the soul? The power of the soul is these 7 qualities: knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and spiritual power. So if you take care not to deplete yourself of these powers, keep your mind clean and powerful and full of good thoughts, elevated thoughts all the time. And this has to be done very consciously until it becomes a sanskar. And if you take care to choose peace, choose purity, choose happiness, come what may, all through the day, then you will be able to create a state for yourself when your buddhi will function in such a manner that it will make the right decision. And you see, the slogan today is also connected to this. In the slogan today, Baba says that the state of being a shariri. So let me read out the English slogan. So these translations are so to be bodiless is a wireless set, and to be viceless is the setting for the wireless set. So Baba says, if you are viceless, that is, you have not used lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed, not operated out of fear and hatred and worry and jealousy for a long time, then the law says if you don't use it, you will lose it. And when you lose these vices, then you become like then you can easily be bodiless. And when you are bodiless, that is, this is a stage where the soul can be completely soul conscious. And in that state, you will be like a wireless set, getting the right signals from Baba at the right time. So when you are viceless, then the bodiless soul, is in a right setting and you can act as a wireless. And Baba says for that, you need to choose your state of power and peace and love and purity, come what may. If you keep saying, this person said this, so I lost it, this event happened, so I lost it, but that's okay. You can make the choices you want to make, but that is not the choice of a wise soul, and that choice is not going to help you become the person you want to become. So Baba is giving us these directions today, and Baba is saying that in the golden age, you will not need any advisors because you will have a very well functioning intellect. And that will happen if you make the right choices right now. And those right choices will come about if you take care not to deplete yourself and stay in your spiritual power. Now today Baba is also talking about one spiritual law. So you see, just like a scientist tells you about the laws of science, so Baba is the spiritual father, teacher and Satguru. He tells you about the laws of spirituality. Now what are the laws of spirituality? So when you talk about the laws of science, so those are the laws which govern the 5 elements of matter. So science talks about the laws which govern how the 5 elements of matter behave. And spirituality talks about the laws which govern the behavior of souls. So, we are all souls. Matter is external. And it is very funny that we know the laws of matter, but we don't know the laws that govern us. And Baba every day gives us awareness and knowledge about these laws. And today Baba is talking about a very interesting law, which is whenever a soul comes from the soul world, that soul cannot experience sorrow until half its journey. So you see, Baba has told us that when we souls come down from the soul world, then in the beginning, 2500 years, which is half the cycle, we stay in happiness. And then the second half, we come into sorrow. Now, this does not only apply to souls that come in the beginning, but as you know, that souls keep coming. That is why the population keeps increasing. So the souls that are already here don't go back, they keep taking rebirth, and then newer souls who are still in the soul world keep coming and joining us here. Now, in that regard, if you look at the population statistics, then 100 years back, the world population was approximately 2 billion, which is right now approximately 8 billion. So, where were these 6 billion souls? So, they were in the soul world, and in these last 100 years, they have come down. So, this is how it is operating. Now, think about the soul which has come down just 100 years back. So, do you think as soon as it comes down, it will start experiencing sadness and sorrow? No. So, when the soul comes down, let's say 100 years, it's another 20 years to destruction, let's say. So, 120 years, that soul has to stay on the planet. So then for 60 years, the soul will experience relative happiness. It could be 1 birth, it could be 10 births, whatever. So that soul will keep taking births, but for the first 60 years of the journey, even if it is spread over 3 births, the soul will experience relative happiness, not absolute, because in this world right now, absolute happiness is not possible. And for the next 60 years, the soul will experience sorrow. Right? So, Baba says this is a law. And according to this law, Baba explains something very interesting. So, Baba has told us that the prophets, Christ, Buddha, so these prophets, or what we call Dharam Sthapak, the founder of religions, Baba says these are souls who come down directly from the soul world in the copper age. So when Abraham came, it was some 2500 years back. So when Abraham came directly from the soul world, he established Islam. When Christ came directly from the soul world, he established Christianity. And then they keep taking birth in that same religion which they establish. So that is something that Baba has told us. Now, Baba explains to us in the Murli today that when a soul comes down, the soul cannot experience sorrow because it has come pure from the soul world. Now I am using it because There is no pronoun for a soul, yes, but a soul is neither a he or a she nor an it. Okay, so let me clarify that. Now, when the soul comes down from the soul world, then it has not committed any sin. So that soul cannot experience any sorrow. But in the history of prophets and religious founders, what you always come across is that every prophet experienced a lot of sorrow. So Christ had to endure a lot of pain and he was crucified. Or, Buddha had to encounter a lot of opposition. So these stories are told to us. Now Baba explains this phenomena. What Baba says that the soul which you call Christ enters the body of Jesus. So when a prophet's soul comes down, it's not one soul, it's two souls in that body. And how do you know that? You see, in the story of every prophet, you see, they are born ordinary. Until a certain age, they are very ordinary people. And suddenly they receive this enlightenment. Now, you and I didn't get suddenly enlightened, did we? So we don't get suddenly enlightened, and we only get suddenly disenlightened sometimes, but then sudden enlightenment doesn't happen to us. And then Baba has to come, and then we have to beat our head against the wall several times before we get even a little thing. And then what happens with these souls? So it's not like they suddenly became enlightened. That is not the law. You can deplete automatically, you cannot rise automatically. So this law of entropy works in the world, and if there is no divine intervention, you can get worse day by day, but you can't get better day by day on your own. So that's not how it works. So only when Baba comes, he makes us better. So Baba says, what happens in the case of those souls? So take it very clearly. First, there is Jesus. Jesus is born. Jesus reaches a certain age. And then the Christ soul. That Christ soul who comes directly from the soul world enters the body of Jesus. And that is called the day of enlightenment. And then the Christ soul, who is a pure soul, starts giving the knowledge which it has. Now, no soul which doesn't come in this golden age has complete knowledge. Souls that come in the copper age, maximum they know that I am a soul and God is a supreme soul. That's it. So what Christ also tells everybody is, you are light and you are the son of light. Yes, so God is light and I am the son of God. That's it. So this much they tell. Now what happens is, when they keep giving this knowledge, then after the establishment of the religion, when this knowledge has been spread a little, and then some people who belong to that religion have come to that religion, then what happens? This Christ soul leaves the body and the crucifixion happens with the Jesus soul. Okay? Similarly, in the body of Gautam, Buddha descended. Right? So, if you look at the names also, Buddha and Christ, they are meaningful names. Buddha means the enlightened one, Christ means the savior. So according to drama, the name that they take later on is also very meaningful and significant. And Baba says, because the pure soul cannot experience any sorrow, that's not the law. So before the sorrowful drama begins, the Christ soul takes off. And then the Christ soul doesn't go back to the soul world, because no soul So there is one particular difference between the Supreme Soul and a soul. So the Supreme Soul comes at the end of the cycle, descends into the body of Brahma Baba, gives knowledge and goes back. But no other soul, where once they come, they have to take rebirth until the end of the cycle, until Shiv Baba, the Supreme Soul, comes and takes us all back. So the Christ soul again takes birth in the same religion. And yesterday Baba told another law, which is the one who creates also sustains what they create. So Baba says, when the founder of the religion creates that religion, then they are bound by the law of spirituality to sustain that religion by coming into that religion in another body. Now Baba talks about himself also, that just like the Dharmatmas, when I come to establish the deity religion, and I, the Supreme Soul, the founder of 3 religions, Baba is talking about himself as the founder of 3 religions today. What are the 3 religions? Baba establishes this Brahmin Dharam right now. You and I are all children of Brahma, Brahman. And then we will become Devta and Kshatriya. That is, Devta is the golden aged deity and Kshatriya is the silver aged deity. So Baba says, I am doing this task of creating Brahmins, and these Brahmins will then become deities. And this task I also do by entering similarly. But there is one difference, I go back, they don't go back. Because there is one soul which is the Supreme Soul, and every other soul is a soul. Right? So Baba says, when I also enter this body of Brahma, whatever pain that Brahma Baba experiences is experienced by Brahma Baba, not Shiv Baba. So let's say Brahma Baba had fever. So that fever, the pain of that fever will be experienced by Brahma Baba, not Shiv Baba. Even if Shiv Baba uses the body of Brahma, Shiv Baba doesn't have anything to do with the karmic accounts of that body, because Shiv Baba is ever pure, so he cannot experience any sorrow. And let me tell you a very funny thing. So Brahma Baba always used to cough, like almost incessantly. And then Brahma Baba used to tell Shiv Baba, why don't you heal my cough? So you've taken my body on loan and you can just heal me of the cough. I'm coughing so badly. And then Shiv Baba used to say, no, I will only use your body and I will give you what you deserve because of that. But then I cannot partake in your karmic account. And you have to deal with that sorrow and you have to cross it. So this was always a very sweet conversation between Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba that used to take place. So I hope you're all clear that the knowledge that we are getting now, the Murlis, are what the Supreme Soul, the point of light, the resident of the soul world, Shiv Baba has given by descending into the body of Brahma Baba and sitting with him right here and using his body to speak. Now there is a question, how 2 souls live in one body? 2 souls live in one body many a times. You have heard about mischievous souls also inhabiting bodies, and all that is not untrue. So 2 souls can live in a body, because this body is like a CD player and you are a CD. So you know, whatever, so you are sitting here, you are using the body, another soul can also sit here and use your body. But the thing is, if the soul is a mischievous kind, then they will cause trouble. But if the soul is the supreme soul, then you will not experience. So the supreme soul, of course, the question of you doesn't arise, because the supreme soul only enters the body of Brahma Baba and later Gulzar Dadi. But then the supreme soul, when he enters, he doesn't trouble Brahma Baba. In fact, he gives great relief to Brahma Baba, because when in the company of the supreme soul, Brahma Baba also becomes elevated. So this is something. So, and two souls living in one body is not a new news. And so I will tell you this thing also, although I have shared it, I think, in the course, but let me repeat it. So in Hinduism, there have been examples of souls who, through their power of tapasya, have acquired the ability to leave their body and enter another one's body also. And Adi Shankaracharya, who was the founder of the Sannyas Dharam, had this ability, and he had acquired this ability through tapasya. And then there is a story about it. And what happened is, once Shankaracharya was having a debate with a lady, a wise lady, and well versed in the Shastras. And then Shankaracharya was giving answers to whatever questions she was asking, and it was a debate. So that lady suddenly asked Shankaracharya, so you are very wise, so why don't you tell me what is the happiness of the family path? Grahasth ka sukh. So then Shankaracharya was a sannyasi and he couldn't answer that question. But he felt a little piqued by it. So that stayed in his heart. And then because he had this ability to leave his body and enter another, once he was going through the forest, he saw a dead body of the king. And then he thought, let me leave my body, enter this king's body, and go to the palace and see what a family life is like. And then he did that. And he went to the palace. And when he went to the palace, very soon the subjects and the ministers found out that this is not their king. Because every soul has their own buddhi and sanskar, and the decisions of the king were very different from the decisions of this yogi sannyasi. And then they thought, okay, this is not our king, but this is someone better than our king. And now that he is in the body of our king, so the king might not be there. So maybe the king is dead. So let's do something. Let us plan in a manner so that this person continues to stay in this body. So now what they did is they started searching for this soul's body in the kingdom. And at that time, the kingdom used to be a small place. So they searched and they found the body. And then they set it on fire, Shankaracharya's body. And then the Shishya, whom Shankaracharya had directed to take care of his body, couldn't help because he didn't know what to do in such a situation. So he just called out to his guru with a lot of heart. And then the guru, and here you get an example of thought power also. And then Shankaracharya flew and came back to his body. But then until that time, one of his hand had already got burnt. And Shankaracharya lived his life with that burnt hand. And this is not mythology, this is history. Shankaracharya is not a mythological figure, he's a historical figure. There is a difference between that. So that also we need to understand. So this is how Baba says that Dharam sthapaks always work, but Baba says there is a difference between others and him, and that is he goes back after establishment of the deity religion, but any other prophet soul doesn't go back. So let me also tell you, there are at least 5 kinds of souls in the world if you categorize them broadly. There is the supreme soul, there is the prophet soul, yes, there is the deity soul, then there is the great souls, and then there are the ordinary souls. So we souls are unique, not the same. So we all have a recorded part, and according to that, we are a someone. We are not all the same. We look the same. We have original qualities which are the same, but we are not the same. So the Supreme Soul is only one. Deity souls are 33 crores in number, that which Baba is searching, and which you and I are one of them. Then there are prophet souls like Christ and Buddha and other religious founders. And then there are great souls like social reformers and others, Mahatma Gandhi and the like. And then there are ordinary souls who you and I have to serve, right? So they will never be cooperative souls, they will only take. So those are ordinary souls. Those who take and start giving, those are deity souls. We all take from God, but then slowly, gradually we start giving also. Those are deity souls. And those who only continue taking until the end, those are ordinary souls. Okay. There is another question. At the time of pain or disease, Shiv Baba kept himself detached or what? Why? So Baba doesn't have to keep himself detached. Baba is detached by virtue of his purity. Okay, so because he's pure, he doesn't experience that pain. And Jesus had to leave because he didn't have any role. So not Jesus, Christ had to leave. So Jesus was already there. All right, so this is today's Murli. Let me quickly tell you the blessing today. Baba says, may you always be free from obstacles and become an embodiment of solutions by having a constant and stable stage, by having love for the One and having faith in the One. Now let me tell you what this blessing means. So you see, this is one person or the element of nature, and this is you. You are not meant to suffer if they are in a bad state. But because you become attached, so they suffer, you also suffer. Right? Now Baba says, if you're only attached to Baba, because you will need to attach to somebody now that you are depleted. A depleted soul attaches, that's the quality. But now that you found Baba, if you only attach to Baba, then you will be detached from everybody, and then instead of becoming part of their problem, you will be able to give them solutions. Okay? So Baba says, always remain absorbed in love for the One Father and for his task in such a way that you do not feel that there is any other person or possession in the world. So when you are in love, you become blind to everyone and everything in the world. And Baba says, if you have that kind of love for Baba and his task, so what does attachment with Baba means? You love Baba so that he is always in your man and buddhi, and you are so in love with his task that your time, wealth, energy, everything is always busy in his task. So if you are in such deep love with Baba, then you do not even feel the presence of any person or possession in the world. The children who have love for the One, who have faith in the One, and have a constant and stable stage are always free from obstacles, because obstacles can only influence you if you are attached to the experience the stage of ascent. So you will always feel you're not going low but always rising up because you are in love with the One above. They transform excuses into solutions. They do not become weak with excuses but become embodiments of solutions. Okay. Om Shanti.